This is the story about how I had a stalker when I was in college. I've never shared this publicly, and I don't even know if stalker is the right word for it. I was followed when I was in college. So yeah, basically because of this whole ordeal, it is the reason why I stopped running for like, I want to say like 2 years. I stopped running altogether because I was too afraid to run outside. Let's get into it. This happened when I was a junior in college. I used to run all the time. I was a runner in high school, and when I was in college, I just did it for fun. I ran very frequently. I typically would stay in more populated areas, like on campus, and I would try to run where there was always like cars and people around. And one day I had just gotten done with a run, and I was just like walking out in front of my sorority house. I lived in my sorority house my junior year. So I'm like done with my run. I'm just like walking around to just sort of slow my heart rate down. And I'm kind of like right on the sidewalk, right near my sorority house. And I noticed this car like slowly inching up next to me. To this day, I still remember the exact car. I remember the license plate numbers. Like when there is a potential threat, you remember the signs. I just remember like looking over into the car. A car's inching up next to you. You look over. I saw a man in the car. It's just one person in the driver's seat. And I just remember he was doing something as he was driving and watching me. So obviously that was alarming, and it might have taken me a second to like register what was going on. I didn't really see his face or anything. The windows were kind of tinted, but you know, I could see enough. And so I think I just ran inside the sorority house. Like he sort of drove away and I ran inside my house, which maybe wasn't the smartest thing to do because great, now he knows where I live. I'm like, I didn't know what else to do. So that's what I did. Ran inside, ran to my house mom, and we called the police. Don't remember if anything came out of that police call other than like there wasn't much they could do. Of course, it happened again. This time I was running on campus, and I was right near an apartment complex that I knew I'd be able to get into the lobby of. I was running and I saw the car. Like I said, I remembered the car because I like seared it into my memory, including the license plate numbers. I was thinking quick on my feet, and I just ran into the lobby of the apartment complex. Sure enough, I actually saw somebody that I knew, and it was a girl that I just kind of like an acquaintance. And she was like, "Are you okay?" Like, and I just kind of explained everything to her. And she was like, "Do you want to ride home? Like, what can I do?" Honestly, at that point, I was like, I knew I could get myself home safe if I just walked back on campus. And so I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm just going to walk back on campus. You know, it's a busy time of day. I should be fine. That's what I did. I made it home. Obviously went to my house mom again, and we called the police. And again, like, nothing really happened. Like, they were like, we know about this guy, but like at this point, he doesn't have any record of violence or like actually approaching me. So I made it through the rest of my junior year not seeing him again. I don't remember seeing him again. But then we get to senior year of college, and it was the first day of school. The first day. This man wasted no time. My senior year, I didn't live in the sorority house anymore, but I was there quite often because I ate all my meals there. The building that I had most of my classes in was the education building, and that building was the closest building to the sorority house. It was like a 3-minute walk. It was really close. On that very short 3-minute walk, I see the car again. He's following me again. My fight or flight just like activated, and I bolted to the house because I knew there was gonna be a lot of people there. I bolted there. It was daylight, and went straight to my house mom, called the police again. Basically, we came to find out that I was not the only girl that this guy was following around. He was following around a ton of different girls on off campus, near campus, And yeah, I wasn't the only one, which was not comforting at all. Like, he was doing this to so many other girls. Just the thought that he was just like following us around and like watching us, and he knew where we lived and he knew the places we frequented. It was a horrible feeling. I don't ever think he was arrested because he never did anything violent that I know of. I don't know what the fate of this disgusting man was. I never saw him again after that first day of school senior year. Thought I saw him a million times. My mind was playing tricks on me because I was so hyper aware. But the reason I'm making this video is, and I'm sure girls, like, I'm sure we hear this all the time, right? Be hyper aware of your surroundings, like, be so careful when you're out. This is just another reminder to do that. Luckily, like, this guy was never violent. I feel so lucky for that. But every time I saw him, like, you don't know what somebody is capable of. You don't know what they're gonna do. And so it was still really scary to be followed around. You never know what they're gonna do. That's why I just stopped, walking outside altogether for a couple years, because I was so scared of being followed again. It took me a really long time to get comfortable, running outside again. And even now, 8 years later, I still am like looking over my shoulder, even though I make sure that I run in very populated areas at, in the middle of the day, where there's a lot of people. And I'm still constantly looking over my shoulder just because it's habit, I guess. The fact that I used to run outside at nighttime and not be scared, like in college, like freshman and sophomore year, I ran outside at night sometimes because sometimes that was the only time I had time. How did I do that? I was not scared. I had no fear. Like, what? So yeah, that is my story. It's just another reminder, girls, like, just be safe, be aware of your surroundings. And I know that, like, I don't know if I've met another woman who doesn't have a story like this. And I think, we can all relate to this in some way. Just be safe out there.